Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video it's going to be a nice little podcast here, something that I had hoped to do for quite a long time. I've talked a little bit about it on my streams and such. It's going to be a podcast about particular topics. We have got a couple lined up, and the topic on today's video is going to be the new specialists that have been added to the game and a new specialist skill that is on the way. I'm going to be joined by both Man on the Moon and Texx. You know them as creators on YouTube, of course. Welcome into the chat, guys.
Hey, good to be here, Locke.
Good to be here. What's up, Locke?
Okay, so today's video, we're going to be talking about specialist skills. We did see in the podcast a breakdown of a few things, but we're going to be more talking about the specialist skills today. They did touch on 3 specialist skills. We have got 2 of them in the game already, and that is going to be follow-up 2 and amped. First up, let's talk about follow-up 2. And it's once per turn, when defeating an enemy, get another turn and 100% max AP. This is, of course, a boost over the original follow-up, where you would just get another turn. And it's kind of combining certain rushes in the past, like Shiva in the Mythic era, Arav in the S-Class era, where they get 100% bonus from their rush, but in the actual specialist skill itself. And we have seen that in Kenny already. So I'm gonna help Texx first, because I know Texx has got his hands on Kenny. What's his first thoughts on this specialist skill in terms of just like enjoyability? You know, what's his thoughts on the specialist skill overall?
I think the specialist skill is really good. This follow up and getting the AP. When you think of Kenny like in RTS or in like the Walking Dead world, especially after like season 1, he kind of has like this anger about him, right? He's quick to fly off the handle. He's very overprotective. And I think like the follow-up skill just flows into who he is as a person. He explodes, he hits somebody, and then he just keeps going. It's just like this built up anger that's going around and around. So I really like it that it's on Kenny.
I like that a lot. I like that idea a lot. I like it when something like plays into someone's like personality, especially with like characters that had personality in like the video games and stuff. What about yourself, Moon? I know you probably haven't had your chance to use him, although you were talking about using him in draft. So I guess you've had your hands on him.
Yeah, I did use him in draft, and it was super silly because I got 3 of them in the same team, and I ran with no leader. I used it Kenny as a leader with just 1535s everywhere, and it was bonkers. It was absolutely bonkers. I think it's a good addition as far as throwing the AP on there. I just think that eventually is it exhaust?
Exhaust, correct, yeah.
Yeah. I think once exhaust comes into play, it's going to kind of be like, well, now we got to write off this entire specialist skill, because once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do as well. You can't counter exhaust without like just running the risk of your resist not actually happening. And that was actually going to be something I was going to ask you guys. Do you think it's still worth them bringing out follow-up 1 characters still, considering follow-up 2, just different types of characters with the older specialist skill? Or do you just think the normal original follow-up is not even that good anymore?
Yeah, well, I think that the original follow-up can still work in certain scenarios, but what makes the follow-up 2 special is the fact that you get 100% AP.
Yeah. But like we were saying with the exhaust, the second there's a character that comes out that has any sort of exhaust on it, it's the viability of those characters now. So I guess you wouldn't necessarily be too upset if there was a follow-up that came out that didn't have it, as long as they were still powerful, right?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but can't you use an exhaust mod? Like I'm thinking
you can,
but it's not guaranteed.
But
I get you.
But then the thing is with the specialist skill is you can't even kill somebody. It isn't that you can't rush. It isn't that you can't use a signature move. You can't even take a turn. Like my basic attacks on Kenny just smacks. So it'd be really risky there, right? And I think that it going to blow yourself up pretty much. It's a big risk.
I think what if you're not using him for the follow-up, like if you're using him to get the first big hit so somebody else can finish it, what's the point of him having follow-up at all, let alone follow-up 2?
I do like the fact that follow-up 2 does have kind of like a bit of strategy behind it, especially in Kenny's kit. because it only works once per turn. And Kenny's hard to actually maybe guarantee a takedown without having his signature move or rush available. So sometimes it can be like about, when do I want to rush? Do I want to rush straight away? Do I want to, maybe I've defended on him turn 1, so I can rush twice turn 2. And that seems to be really good. So within Kenny's kit in particular, I think it is really nice for sure.
Yeah, and if he gets a natural rush, then you could probably kill 2 or 3 people, 4 people,
Yeah, especially if he's
without
already
that.
rushed before, because that 100% attack is just, what?
Yeah.
The second specialist skill that they touched on was Amped, and we have that with the new Easter Eva. At the start of this character's turn, if they are 100% HP, they get 50% of their max AP. This actually procs off of turn 1, so when you start the fight, unless like an enemy leader comes in that potentially does like maim damage or some sort of damage to you, you're always going to have that initial AP boost. Obviously, talking about exhaust with follow-up 2, that it's going to have the same issues there. But this is brand new. This isn't like a 2.0. What are your thoughts on Amped as a specialist skill? I'll go with you, Moon, first. What are your thoughts on Amped with how it works?
I think it's a really cool idea. I do like the fact that I think it's going to be fun with an AP game team. I think like I saw it originally and I was just like, okay, so 50%, throw a 20% weapon on there, that's 70%. I might be able to, depending on the team build, you might be able to just get a natural turn 1 rush without having a command potentially. And that's kind of cheesy. In a good way though. That's kind of cheesy in a this makes me smile kind of way. So, I think it could be really fun, especially on attack.
How about you, Texx? What are your thoughts on Amped? Basically, it doesn't necessarily have to be Amped within Eva's kit. It could be like Moon's saying, the viability with other potential teams in the future. What are your thoughts there?
I think that Amp has a good place in the game. I like it on Eva, especially with the current meta that we're in right now. These blue teams being so tanky and everything. The Amp specialist skills works out very well because it allows Eva, in her case, to be able to get her rush off, and then you can be able to, take away the bonus HP and then do some additional damage. So if you can get her to go off pretty early, then it's going to be better for you to eliminate the team. So I like Amped in that sense that it works well in the side of the current meta.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I think Amped is really cool. The only downside I'm seeing with it, and I'm seeing with a couple is, including follow-up 2, is a lot of the offensive ones have AP in the mix. And just the fear in my head is like, if exhaust does finally come out, I'm looking at my roster. I'm like, damn, I'm not going to be able to use a lot of these characters. So the Amped is going to run into kind of the same issues. That's just long term. So hopefully there are going to be some more offensive based specialist skills that are not all about AP gain. So, but what about potentially Amp's usage on defense? We see it on more of an offensive character right now. So Moon, like when it comes to Amped on a defense team, it does start at the beginning of that character's turn. So they wouldn't have it at the beginning of the fight. It would kind of force you to have to do something to that character so they didn't get AP straight away. But do you think that's viable? Could you see that being good?
That on defense, I think it would be more character specific. It would be more based on the team build. And just like the character build itself, you force somebody to do something to, say, a tough character. It's not really that hard to do damage to a tough character and not be, you might get impaired, but that's not that bad. As to where you attack into a fast character, you could get abs D multiple times before anything actually happens. I mean, I've gotten abs D 5 times in a turn before. We all have, at some point or another. So, or running, having to run into a stun character, that's a little bit more damaging to risk being stunned turn 1 with somebody. So I think it would be viable depending on the character. You could make it good or you could make it bad. I think it just starts off better as an attack specialist than a defensive one. I think they have to work harder to make it good on defense.
Yeah, it's just got like better guarantees on attack, right? You seem to be able to guarantee the AP a little bit better, at least on that first turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, on amped on defense seems like it will be nuts, depending on how they build the kit for the tune. I think that, yeah, maybe you can be able to get the AP down, get the HP down a little bit turn one. But if you run into, you know, a team that has like Davy on there, right, and he's given, has a chance to get that bonus HP in the beginning, and then you got certain defensive mods on that tune, you're not gonna be able to even touch their regular HP. So then it feels like when they start their turn, they're gonna go off. So I think it could be very dangerous on the defensive side, depending on the setup.
Yeah, for sure. I actually think it could potentially be really dangerous, but at the same time, kind of balanced because you can, of course, like skip past that bonus HP, just have like a basic bleed or burn mod on a character, and that's guaranteed gonna do some burn or bleed to that enemy. The only problem is it does actually happen at the end of their turn, and the AP proc would be at the beginning. So that's where the issue potentially could come in. But like Moon says, it's going to be kit specific. It's all down to the character that it's going to be built on. But you could say the same for pretty much all specialist skills, really. But I think it has got some potential. Kind of like I think aggro has potential on an attack team, and we mainly only see it on like defense team characters. But that's a topic for a different day. Now we have a brand new specialist skill. It's a dual specialist that was teased, and it is going to be Bide and Payback combined into one specialist skill. Obviously, Bide, and as an individual specialist skill, when you attack that character with basic attacks, signature moves, rushes, it stores up that damage, and effectively once it's fully charged up, it reflects that damage back, amplified. And then with Payback, when you rush the character and you take over like more than 30% of their HP with a rush or a signature move, it is going to reflect back to the character attacks plus 2 extra. So it's combining two of the more like powerful specialist skills on defense teams into one. What are your thoughts on this as a specialist skill when it comes to primarily, I guess, being used on a defense team character?
What do I think? This is nuts, man. There is no other way for me to even put this into words. You have two of the most dangerous defensive specialist skills in the game. Like the top two. And you combine them. So it's like, okay, if you attack them, they're going to bide you, right? If you try to one-shot them, they're going to do payback, right? So your only hope is to have bonus HP like on your characters and just try to wing it, try for hope or something, because this skill is nuts, man.
I think a lot of people are probably going to agree the combination is pretty crazy. What about yourself, Moon? What are your first thoughts on Vengeance?
My first thoughts on Vengeance are, man, I'm gonna need that extra bonus HP from Easter Eva. Like, thank God they dropped her when she did with the bonus improved tough health. Because yeah, Texx is right, man. Bonus HP is gonna be. You're either gonna have to maim them, infection, or something. Because otherwise, you're gonna be taking a lot of. Is it reflect damage or counter damage? What's that considered?
I think Bide is counter and Payback's reflect. So
Reflect,
it's both.
So if you use,
So it's both.
if you use splash, right? Like if I was to, because I've seen this happen where I'll hit a tune and it'll splash Andre, and then Payback goes off on everybody. So it's any type of, that damage. So you're gonna have that from the Payback, and then Bide is the direct damage and stuff like that. So it's gonna be tough. Bonus HP is definitely gonna be the way to go, and I'm happy that they built that into that tank buster combo on Eva's weapon, which is she's relatively free to play too, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, you would assume that a Bide Payback combined specialist would be a tank, so yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Like all specialist skills, you could potentially hit this up with normalize, but there are a lot of characters out there right now that you're having to do that on. The defensive specialist skills I've always thought are really powerful when it comes to just being offensively powerful. And This is another one added to the mix, so it's going to be very, very difficult to decide which character you're going to pick first, effectively. And maybe this new Telltale team that is here with the Kenny in that team, it is kind of built to deal with this, but you do need a full Telltale team for that to work properly. So that is the only real way to deal with that I can see, pretty much. Otherwise, I'm not really sure. So I think we're going to wrap things on this video right now, talking about these new specialist skills. There is going to be some more content with the three of us in the future. However, I want to thank both Moon and Texx for joining me on this video.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's always good to be here. I've been trying to do a video with you for more than a year now, so it's good to finally get one done. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we boys, man. You know how it is. It's all good. Love it. Love being here. Love being in y'all company and everything, man. It's been good.
Now, if you guys have any thoughts on these specialist skills, please leave them in the comments down below. And of course, go and jump on to Man on the Moon's and Texx's YouTube channels. The links will be in the description of my video, and give them a subscribe for their content in the future. Who knows? There could be some podcasts on their channel with me on there as well. But that is it in my video today, guys. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.